Just across the street, behind a small cafe, he saw a young woman in a waitress uniform kneeling beside a trash bin. Her trembling hands were digging through plastic bags. Armin frowned. At first, he thought maybe she'd dropped something valuable. But then, to his disbelief, she pulled out a half-eaten sandwich, brushed it with her sleeve, and took a bite. He froze. People were walking past her as if she didn't exist. Cars roared by, lights flashing, and yet this girl, this fragile figure in the rain, was invisible to the world. Something inside Armin stirred. For a moment, he remembered his own past, those nights when his father's shop had gone bankrupt, when even a stale piece of bread had felt like gold. Armin approached her slowly. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked gently. The girl flinched, quickly hiding the food behind her. I'm fine, sir," she said, forcing a weak smile. Her voice was soft but carried a weight of shame. "Why are you eating from the dustbin?" he asked. She looked down, her shoulders trembling. "I work at the cafe over there," she whispered. "They cut my shifts last week. My mother's sick, and I didn't earn enough to buy dinner tonight. I was just hungry, that's all." Armin felt a lump in his throat. Her name was Sarah. She was barely 20, but life had carved pain into her eyes far older than her age. Without thinking twice, he said, "Come with me." Sarah hesitated, fear flickering across her face. "No, I can't. People will think." "Let them think whatever they want," Armin interrupted softly. "You don't deserve this." He took her to a nearby restaurant, ironically, one of his own chains. When the waiter approached, Sarah's eyes widened as she saw the lavish interior. "No, please, this is too much." "Just eat," Armin said kindly. When the food arrived, she couldn't stop the tears that fell. Every bite seemed to break years of silent suffering. Armin didn't speak much, he just listened as she slowly told her story. Her father had died when she was 14. Her mother, bedridden. She had dropped out of college to work double shifts to pay rent and hospital bills. By the time they left the restaurant, the rain had stopped. But something had changed, not just in Sarah's eyes, but in Armin's heart. Chapter 2, The Shocking Twist. The next day, Armin couldn't focus at work. He kept thinking about Sarah, her courage, her humility, her quiet strength. He decided to visit the cafe where she worked. When he arrived, he noticed her manager shouting at her in front of everyone. "You're late again. If you can't handle the job, don't bother coming back." Sarah apologized over and over, clutching her apron. But the man only sneered, "You waitresses are all the same, useless." Before he could say another word, Armin stepped forward. "That's no way to talk to your staff," he said firmly. The manager turned, irritated. "And who are you?" Armin pulled out a business card and handed it to him. The man's expression changed instantly. You're Armin Malik? The owner of Malik's Dine Group?" "Yes," Armin said calmly. "And from this moment on, you're fired." The man's jaw dropped. "What?" "I just bought this cafe," Armin said, placing a folder on the counter. "And I don't need people who treat others without dignity." The cafe staff gasped. Sarah stood frozen, unable to speak. Armin turned to her. "Sarah, from today, you're not just a waitress. You're the new cafe manager. And when you're ready, I'll help you finish your studies too." Her eyes filled with tears again, but this time, they were tears of disbelief and gratitude. "Sir, why are you doing this for me?" Armin smiled softly. "Because once, someone helped me when I had nothing. Now it's my turn." Months passed. Under Sarah's leadership, the cafe transformed. Customers loved her kindness and dedication. The little shop that once struggled became one of the most loved spots in the city. But the biggest change wasn't in the business, it was in the people who heard her story. Sarah often told customers, kindness doesn't need a reason. It just needs a heart willing to see. By the end of the year, Armin attended the cafe's reopening ceremony. Sarah stood on stage, radiant and confident, holding the microphone. She looked at the crowd and said, "The night I found food in a dustbin, I thought life was over. But a stranger saw me not as a beggar, but as a person." Sometimes, one act of compassion can rewrite someone's entire story. The audience applauded. Armin smiled from the corner, proud and humbled. As the camera zoomed in, Sarah turned to him and said, "Sir, you didn't just feed my hunger, you restored my faith." Armin replied softly, "And you reminded me what success truly means."